Hi guys, a very warm welcome back to my garden. I now have my chill lounge installed, which is just this nice wall fabric to cover the otherwise very ugly wall, and my little chill out sofa, which is nice, little side table. So yeah, I would say let's get started with the knit and chat. I hope you can see me like this. It's in the shadow, it's still a bit not too warm. That's why I'm wearing my little lap sweet shop blanket over my shoulders a bit. But otherwise it's nice and sunny again. We had a week of rain, heavy rain and thunderstorms. It's a bit crazy that year. So while I'm chatting, I'm going to knit my spring shirt. I added the little acre neckline, which I love, in this red color, and the color actually this time is really good here in the shadows. I love the contrast. I need to knit like 1 or 2 centimeters down here, and then I can start doing the color work. So this is what I'm going to do. Easy peasy stockinette. I have this much of a ball left, so it's quite a lot, and with the color work it will use up more of the rose and pink. I'm very happy that you joined this knit and chat episode. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, as I haven't been knitting much in the last few weeks. It was the way that I thought maybe you want to sit outside and knit and just knit with me on your favorite things. By the way, let me know what you're knitting at whilst watching this. I would be very curious to hear. And yeah, just chat a bit. I had some very interesting weeks and a lot of interesting meetings and a lot of paperwork to do, but I will come to that later. It is Saturday morning, 18th of May now, and because this knit and chat will not last like for hours, I will add on a little video of my first and other garden, which is basically just 2 stripes of land, which belongs to the whole family, so each family branch has a part. And we've been there since we were small children, and because we grew up in the city, it was kind of a nice refuge to go in nature and be there and play, and yeah, it's just a wonderful piece of land. But I will put this little video, or the parts of that video, at the end. So if you want to have a little garden tour there, you can watch it. If not, just click away to the next video. Now, under the last video, I got 3 questions. Well, 2 basically, and 1 was sent to me by Dawn, a viewer from the first hour, I think. It was all questions by viewers from the first hour of this podcast. Well, thank you so much for asking the questions. And it's 3 questions, I will answer them. I didn't get any more questions. I guess there wasn't much questions flying around, which is totally fine. So the first question was by Ria, how I choose my knitwear, how I choose which design I'm making next. This depends on many factors. This depends firstly on the season. If I'm going into summer, I want to knit light, airy summer stuff, or spring and summer. And I have like 2 seasons, spring, summer, and autumn, winter. I don't do like each quarter season. I sometimes do it for pattern reviews, but it depends on the season. It depends on the wool I have or want. It depends on what I already have. I don't want to have like 10 times the same. Top, I'm about, 2 times is fine, maybe in another color, maybe a little bit variation, but I don't want 5 or 6 times the same pullover. Maybe I'll change my mind on that. And then I'm actually, now for this one, I knew I wanted a t-shirt or a 3/4 sleeve or long, whatever, something for spring, because the wool is very good for that. It's the Ginger Twist Studio merino silk fingering weight in the color fabric. Factory Girls, not Fabric Girls, Factory Girls. I love that wool, and I just wanted to do something for spring. It's heavy spring vibes for me, and I knew I don't have enough to have a long sleeved sweatshirt thing, so I started a t-shirt, and I added in this pinkish, the 2 pinkish wools to just add on a bit with the colorwork part. I actually made a video in my Advent special last year about how I choose my designs. I also go for my body shape, so I want different styles. I want to try different styles. I for long have not knitted all the styles that are possible yet, so I just recently with my stick season knitted my first drop shoulder, and I love wearing that. Before that I have knitted only raglans and circular yoke ones, and I like all 3 jumpers, and I like all 3 construction wise, but I see the differences now, and that with certain wool and certain patterns I might not want that type of construction. A drop shoulder would not be something I want for spring and summer more necessarily, because it's more, for me, like an oversized fit, and in spring summer I prefer a more slim fit. What do you say it like that? Like a fitted fit. So a raglan for me is the one I this far get the best fit out of. Or I don't know how you actually say that, but the construction where you kind of start at the back and then come down the front, like my menuet. It's a very nice fit, but you don't see that too often, or I didn't. So yeah, it depends on many things, and depending on your body shape, different constructions will fit differently. I have no trouble with fitting a circular yoke or a raglan if I make sure it doesn't have too much fabric in the front, because I'm very flat chested, as you can see. So otherwise it will have too much fabric here, which I don't like. So at some point in every raglan, I just only increase at the sleeves and maybe a little bit on the back, but not too much too. And I don't increase in the front on the back, and I try it on regularly and see if it fits nicely. Yeah, there isn't a rule like that applies for everyone. It's just how I never look at colors when I search in Ravelry, because I can always change the color. But I always look at the fit, and I look at the construction. Is it top down or toe up? I almost said toe up. Is it top down or bottom up? Because I really don't like bottom up too much. I like to try on my things as I go and make little changes, and top down for that is way more handy. Yeah. Anything else? That's basically it. I just see something on Instagram, Pinterest, or Ravelry, and I have a huge favorites queue right now, and yeah, I'm going to look there first every time if I find something. And Vanessa from the Woolly Worker actually made a very good video on how to find what you're actually looking for on Ravelry. So if you want to have a better strategy there, go and check out her video. It helped me quite a lot. Yeah, I sometimes just take patterns for kind of the beginning and then do my own thing with it. I just cross-checked it, and sometimes I do cross-checking with other patterns I have yeah. Again, my nice, very professionally made handmade cup. Yeah, Ria, I hope your question is answered with that. If you have a very special question concerning your body or color-wise, maybe check out my Advent special, because I did a full, that basically was my Advent special, how I choose my patterns, colors, and so on. Also about body shape and yeah, color, season, not really, but a little bit. So maybe check those out. So the next question is from Dawn, who sent it to me via Instagram, private messenger. So if you want to have contact with me and chat a bit, you can write me on private messenger on Instagram and I will answer you as soon as I see it. I'm not on there every day, so maybe it takes a few days, but 2-3 times a week I'm there. She asked me how I got to know my partner and how long we're together, and yeah, if I wanted a bit to tell about that. So my partner is called Ian. We met in 2007, which makes it almost 17 years this year. Wow. So this year, first on December, we are together for 17 years, sorry, not 70, of course, 17 years, which is quite astonishing. It doesn't feel like it's that long, and at the same time it feels like I've known him forever, which is a very strange feeling when you think about it, but it's like it is. We've met very classically in a disco, so in a nightclub, and then we met the next morning and went to an art gallery. He told me later that he actually put an alarm clock to not, because he's quite a sleepyhead still. He sleeps till 1 o'clock easily in the afternoon on his free days. He's still sleeping right now, but it's only 9 o'clock, so easy. Yeah, he's the same age. He's 36. I'm turning 36 in June, and yeah, we've been together ever since. We met in September, end of August, September, and then we met first 3 times a week till we find the courage to get together on 1st of December. Yeah. We lived together since 12 years now, so the first 4 years we didn't live together, but we lived quite close. Sorry for the changed frame, my cell phone doesn't have enough saving capacities. It just broke me off, and I don't know exactly where. I was talking about my partner and I, and yeah, we've been together almost 17 years now. Well, not almost, 16 and a half, 1st of June. And yeah, we're still happy. And enjoy each other's company and can talk really well about stuff. The last question was from K-Town Queen. She asked me which designers are my favorite designers, knitwork designers. And that is a very hard question to answer. Firstly, because I don't know all the designers yet. Secondly, I'm only knitting since 3 or 4 years now, so it's not like I have 20 years of experience. But I have some designers which, when I look at their pages, I really like a lot of their work. One of them is the French designer MCL Tricot, Marie-Christine Leclerc, I think is her name. I made the menuet blouses from her, and I loved to knit that pattern. And I also loved the pattern from Ririko, the tulip sweater. I haven't knitted anything else, but I want to do a second one because I loved it so much, and she has a lot of possibilities in the pattern, so you can change it. And since my Yvonne MT shawl, I actually love the patterns from Moonstruck knits. Natasja Hornby is the designer, and I got some patterns on her birthday sale. Most of them are winter patterns, so nothing for now, but I really love how her things look. I also really like 100 Acres wool knits. I'm not sure if she made the Fields of Gold sweater, which is in my pattern list. I actually bought the pattern. I haven't found the right yarn yet. And I love Rebecca Clow. I've knitted her stick season, I have her care sweater, I have her Sidi. And it will not be the end of the list. I love a lot of her sweaters actually she has brought out. I like everything she does. I like her Sana new release, I also like that. And I'm sure I will find a lot more designers which I like. I'm actually very keen on trying out some Swiss designers now. I have the Eillets shirt by Rust Knitwear, and I have the May top by Sidi spinnt. So I'm very keen to see how I like those. But these are the ones that I really love knitting their patterns, and I'm like, wow, how can you come up with something, such a genius thing like that? So yeah, these were the 3 questions I've got, and I've answered now. And we're already like 20 minutes in, so that means I rambled quite a bit. Now to the most exciting part, I think. Not that I didn't find your questions interesting and exciting, but this one thing overshadows just everything else at the moment. I find it really hard to concentrate on anything else, like work, knitting. That's also why I haven't knitted much in the last few weeks. I told you that my partner and I might have a house we've seen. And the current state is we are buying it. It's not, the process is quite a long and complicated one because it's in France. The house is in France, not in Switzerland. But as I told you last time, I can see the French border when I look to my left. So it's not far away from where we're living now. It's like 5 minutes with a car further away. It's a lovely, very, very small village. And the house is just gorgeous. It's built in the 80s, mid-80s, but in a kind of an older style, leaning onto the older styles that were there. So not a modern or semi-modern house, which I don't like those. It has a huge garden, and it even has a pool, which was never something we were looking for. We signed the first contract, which in France is le compromis de vente, which is kind of a promise to buy it. We already had 2 meetings on the French bank. They were very polite, but they want so many documents and formalities. We had to open a French bank account so we can start shoveling over our money. It took 2 hours to open the French bank account as a Swiss person. And in about 2 weeks, 1.5 weeks time, we have the third appointment, which will be doing the credit, like getting the actual credit and signing that contract. And it's just so many things that are involved, like taxes, seeing that you don't get taxed by Switzerland and France, because we still will be working in Switzerland. We are Swiss, we will be working in Switzerland, we just live in France. certain things we can only do when we are already living there, because we need like a bill of electricity bill or something to prove that we live there, which we of course do not have yet, as we are not yet living there. It's a bit of a chicken or the egg situation now, because everyone wants a proof of someone, and the question is just which proof do we get first? And we are kind of doing this as far as we can. Now we wait for that proof, then we do this as far as we can, but we need that proof to do that, and we need this proof to do that, and to do the other stuff it's kind of so complicated. It's just, we are having our kitchen table full of papers. We had to rip out everything. We need to see about the health insurance. We need to see about so many administrative things. It's very tiring. Like, I go to work, my head is full, I get emails, I kind of, in my breaks, I try to answer the emails as best as I can. I come home, I do some paperwork, and then I'm so tired, I just fall asleep at 10 o'clock and I haven't knitted a single stitch. But I said to myself, I don't want to stress myself out with knitting just because of the podcast. When I'm in the mood for knitting, like I'm now, I'll do it, and I'll happily do it, and I'll enjoy it. But if I'm not in the mood, or I'm just too tired, I'm just not knitting. And you might have to be a bit patient until for some time before you see another finished garment of me. That's just how it is at the moment. We cancelled our summer holiday. Well, we still have the holidays, but we are not departing. We wanted to visit friends in south of France, and because it's France, it was very easy to cancel it with no costs or anything. So we cancelled that, and we will be at home packing and doing more administrative stuff, because we need to see how to get the car and Ian's Vespa over there, and have to kind of go to someone who signs it in the French system. It's very different. I wouldn't have believed it, but it's very different. And when you're in the bank, you kind of, they tell you all that stuff about how they do it and blah blah blah, and what they need and what is complicated. And I'm like, we are by far not the first ones Swiss people buying a house in France near the border. But it feels like it, like it's that complicated. It feels like we're the first ones. Well, we will get through it. The third bank appointment will not be the last one, because it will take another 1.5 to 2 hours until we get that credit signed. I'm sure of it. I hope we can make it by the next time. And then we need a fourth one for insurances and stuff. And maybe a fifth one too. But maybe after we moved there. I can't speak French, but daily life French, not bank appointment, hardcore bank terminology French. So we are very glad that they speak German. And we also have we found someone who will do our taxes and other administrative stuff. So no problems there. It's a lot. And at the same time, I'm still like, I can't believe we are buying a house, and the moving date actually is end of September. So this year's Christmas Advent special, whatever it will be in the new house. It's unbelievable, and I'm so unbelievably happy. Like, I dream of our house every night and what I want to do with the garden, and I want to have chickens, my partner wants to have rabbits, and yeah. It's overwhelming, and I think it will all calm down in a huge teary moment when we actually sign the final contract and get the keys. That is the moment I'm living for right now. Because I'm quite tensed at the moment, like, is everything working out? Am I not forgetting anything important that I have to organize and do? So it's a bit stressful at the moment. Like, we had that first moment when we signed the first contract. But the final part will be when we get the keys. It will be, yeah, we'll get the keys by the end of August. So we can actually go in the house and do stuff before we move in, which is very nice to have that kind of situation. Yeah, we need to paint some stuff, some rooms. But it's in a quite good shape, so we don't need to do a lot. We have one room that is bare, like to the bones, small room in the first floor, which will become another bathroom. And the downstairs they made stuff very new, so the kitchen is quite new, the bath there is quite new. They have floor heating, they have a cheminée, so they have a fireplace built in, which was my dream of having. You know, I always put on the TV YouTube fireplace in the winters before because I wanted the coziness of the fireplace, but I didn't have one. And I'm so looking forward on having a fireplace where I can knit in front of. Yeah, there is some stuff I want to change, some stuff we need to change in the garden, in the house, but I guess I will do a tour when we get the keys, if you're interested in that. I will do like a little empty house tour. And maybe tell you a bit about what I want to change. It will not be all at once, it will be one step by step, one by one. But I will have a lot of projects for the next years, yeah. Cheers to that. My feelings change from overwhelmed with joy to overwhelmed with stress to panicking. Did I forget something? Do I have to do? What do I have to do now? Next? What is next? Like, this uncertainty of the next steps, like in this administrative part, is a bit stressful to me, I have to admit. But at the same time, I'm just like, I will do that and I want to do this, and planning my native wild hedge and my chicken coop, and almost until like sitting there and like crying from happiness because I'm overwhelmed by this joy and emotions. Because owning a house, buying a house, or having a house with a big garden was a dream of mine since a long time now. First it was having a horse, and when I got my horse, it started into turning having a house. And luckily Ian sees it the same. And we saved for it now for 4 years. We've been searching a house for 4 years. We've been searching in Switzerland mostly, so moving to France wasn't really an option till last autumn for me. And for Ian since January, so it all went quite fast. I guess in the next video I will do a garden tour here. And maybe an apartment tour if you want to, because it's a very nice apartment. Maybe not everything, I might leave out the kitchen table. That's the big news. I'm happy and joyful and very exhausted at the same time. It's also the end of school year at the same time, so it's a lot of stress there too with getting the final grades. We have a big school project, and which I'm in an organization team too, so my whole day is just organizing stuff. And these breaks, like on the stable or in while knitting, they are kind of very difficult to find. Like to turn off my brain and say now it's a break is very hard with the house. It's easy for me to do with the school stuff, but it's not easy to me to do with the house. So I will cut this video here, and I was rambling a bit, I'm sure. I'm sorry for that. I hope you enjoyed the knit and chat. Now it will be followed by the little garden tour in the other garden. Hope you got some knitting done. Let me know. If you want to find me and contact me, you can do that on Ravelry. I'm there as Eillets, or on Instagram as knitting_Eillets. And I would be happy to talk to you, read from you. Please give the video a like if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to. See you later, bye. Hi guys, I, as promised, want to show you one of my 2 gardens. I have to say I'm a bit spoiled because we have a kind of family garden which belongs to the whole family, and it has different sections, as we have different sections of family. I will explain that to you. I arrived with my little cute pink Vespa. Now I will quickly flip the camera and give you a little overview. So when you arrive from the street here, you go up this little way and you arrive to the big huge walnut tree. This is actually the whole thing, so it goes very far. It consists of those 2 green stripes. So one is this one right to the end of that brown field, like no, at the beginning of that brown field here, and up to the beginning of that brown field here. And it goes all the way to the front here. Oh no, don't focus on my finger. Like to this tree and even further on. It has like 2 sections. This section here with the fruit trees on it is mainly occupied, how do you say that, loaned? No, not loaned. I have to look it up. It's a kind of a farmer who lives over there, kind of pays yearly or monthly very small fee, and he cuts the grass and uses it for his cows. And yeah, and we don't have to do anything, but we can go to the fruit trees and get fruit. So these are cherry trees mostly, because most of the apple trees, there's one left, an old one. This part is the other family part, which is not our part. When we arrive at the big tree, which is not ours, this is our hut, the back side of the hut, with the new, oh, can't see, with the new, I have to blend out the sunlight, with the new tank here, water tank, which actually is, oh, it's nicely full now. Ooh. Wow, we have over 500 liters now, that's great. And we have a barrel which is also full. This is the lookout to the fruit tree part. And I mean the best tree in the world, guys. It's just this huge cherry tree. He's enormous. We always say he's the king of the land. And it's just so wonderful. Little wild bee hotel. And that's our hedge, which is wild prunes kind of thing. I think it came from its own. These are my 2 raised beds, which actually I tried to sow carrots, but somehow I made a mistake and it didn't work out. We have a lot of spring onions, which I did not sow. I sowed or planted all these, and I kind of have to weed it now and want to re-sow the onions and stuff, and I will kind of, no, not the onions, the carrots and Well, it's pastinaca again. I'm not that good with all these vegetables in English. We have a little compost here, a little chest with working stuff, and this is the front of our garden. A little cherry tree, a new apple tree, another apple tree. We had an apple tree here where the hole is, and he kind of fell, so he kind of destroyed the hedge here. We had to cut it because it all was hanging over. And that is the front of our hut. You see, heavily secured because we always have break-ins. Very sad we have to do that much, just that no one enters the hut and steals our stuff. Lavender, fire pit I built with my dad, and our big wood mountain of dead wood, which is actually very nice for the birds. And can quickly show you the front. Like, this is the big huge pile of wood, dead wood, which is now from the hedge. There is my little bed, because there is a Johanniskraut. I have to look it up and write it down. And I want to keep it, and we have a gardener that's actually coming and mowing in here, because we are not here that often and the grass gets like hip high or chest high, and then you have to come and kind of fight through it. So we hired a gardener that mows like 2-3 times a year, so we can come. We always tell him not to, he can kind of leave little patches, and he doesn't have to mow close around the mountain here. We also have nettle, just that the animals and birds have something too. And yeah, that's very nice. I think my cousin actually mowed here last time. And this is again the huge cherry tree. Let me see if we have some cherries coming or if they were all frosted up, but it looks good. So this one is just a miracle. He's about 80 to 90, maybe 100 years old, I don't know. And it's just a gorgeous tree, and a lot of birds in here. We have another apple tree over there. I think it's 2 apple trees. And here where it's all free now, there were all trees at one point, but they all crumbled down, mostly apple trees. Also here you can see the spot here where our apple tree fell, and further down here where the other apple tree fell. So yeah, at some point we have to think about replanting some of those trees. We now replanted them here. There also fell a prune tree, and we planted it here, and we planted another apple tree I just showed you before. So this is also a wild prune, mirabelle, whatever, we don't know, it came by its own. Then we have a quitten. What is that now? But I think the frost got, well, maybe we're lucky. There are a lot of little fruits here. Maybe we're lucky and the frost didn't get them. I was sure the frost got all the flowers, but maybe they were already having the fruits. Oh, that would be nice. We would have a nice fruit year then, hopefully. So this is the section of my cousin now. They did a marvelous job. This was crumbling down, looking awful, with holes in the ceiling and everywhere. Wow, this looks so gorgeous. Here we have a huge hazelnut, a huge lilac, which is not my best friend because he's potentially invasive. It's not like the Buddleia, which is invasive in Switzerland, but this one is potentially invasive. And he kind of took over here, and I hope they will kind of push it back a bit. That's just one thing that is kind of very important to me, and it became very important to me. Look at this gorgie. Isn't he gorgeous? The normal snowball, gemeiner Schneeball. I have to look those things all up. It's just so wonderful. Little Spidey there. And I'm not a friend of spiders, but I kind of managed my arachnophobia, so I can kind of not panic when I see one. This is an apple tree, which I'm not sure he survived the frost very good, but has a bit of brown spots on the leaves, but there are some small tiny fruit, so maybe. So as I was saying, it's very important to me at the moment to have native plants, and this is different depending on where you are in the world. Like the lilac, when you're in Asia, it's native, great. Here it's not. So even if it's not invasive, it's not a big help, because only the honeybees can take the honey, and the honeybees can take the nectar and the pollen from every plant. They are generalists, so they actually don't need really our help. We have to see that they don't all die from this diseases, but nourishment wise, native plants, guys, native plants is the way to go. And of course we have neophytes, like the lavender is not a native plant in Switzerland, but I just like it. And that's okay, because it's a small amount, but I don't want any invasive plants. Like in Switzerland, the Buddleia, the summer lilac, and the cherry laurel, Kirschlorbeer, I think it's called. So yeah, they are not good. You find them in all the forests. So this is how they look now. I put the straw to the side, because when the carrots should be sprouting, then I want to cover the rest with straw again in between. So I'll keep it here just for the moment. If I'm not going to use it again, it goes into the compost. I eliminated some of the spring wild whatever onions, because I did not plant those. I did plant those along the line, but not this wild thing here. So I kind of took some out, especially the ones that were here in the middle. I did not plant them, they just came sort of by its own. Our inside of our little hut, which is packed to the brim. This lavender is coming along nicely, although I cut it quite low. And I just saw we have, yeah, some lemon balm that came back miraculously, because I planted some years ago and I thought it had died, but obviously no. The view is just stunning, all the view over Basel, so it's just a wonderful view. Weather is fantastic, I have to say. It's warm. I'm not used to it actually. I'm here in my t-shirt and I'm still sweating. I put some new wood chips around the trees. This one technically doesn't really need it, but well. And it does look quite good with the cherries, but it does look like frost also gave it a bit something on the leaves. But yeah, this one is quite big and strong already, so he will make it. I'm not worried about that one. So I hope you liked this little garden tour. I'm sitting here with Bee Hotel. I like to watch the bees come and go on this nice old but still comfortable bench, which we technically should kind of renew at some point. It was a project idea a long time ago, but we just never came to it. Yeah, it needs some new wood planks. Yeah, that's our garden. I like to be up here to get my mind off things. We like to do grill evenings with friends here, especially when we have a bit more than 2 or 3 friends, like bigger assemblings of family and stuff. We have enough space here. Yeah, it's always nice to be here. It's very peaceful and quiet, and just a lovely place to be. I also have my garden at home, and it's not the garden I want to grow crops in, like, you know. I'm thinking about putting in some more perennials, like strawberries or raspberries, although I don't think strawberries have a huge surviving aspects with all the slugs and everything. So, but I want to put raspberries, because I can put those, and when it's autumn, late summer, and we come here and always some raspberries are ripe, we can just eat them and it's fine. Yeah, I think that would work. So when I have enough descendants from my raspberries, which were very keen on making descendants this year. So I took some and planted them, and I might plant some of those this autumn up here and see if they like it, and yeah, what will work out and what not. I want to do them around the raised beds, so it's all together, so if I have to water them, I don't have to walk like for miles. But I'm really proud of our water tank here. It's the system my partner and I made here, with the pipe going down and up. If it's full, it can go to the barrel here, and then it kind of flows over into the ground if it's full there too. I'm happy we did that. So now I'm just gonna sit here for another 5 minutes or so, rest a bit, and then I'll go home and into the stables, and I'm just relaxing a bit, gathering some new strength for the last couple of weeks at school, which are always crazy. And yeah, we will manage, and I'm looking forward to the summer holidays then. See you, bye.